Last summer, we launched the Challenge of Your Life, a triathlon with a difference, and began the search for 10 very special women to take part in the 3 physical challenges. 2 would cycle across India, 4 would run the London Marathon, and 4 would swim the Channel. Undeterred, thousands of you applied to take part.
You're all here is because you've made it through the first selection process, because you all have the most amazing stories. And the reason that you're here is probably that all of you have sat down and thought to yourselves that you maybe want to do something a bit more with your life, that there's more in you than other people have thought. It would be nice to take this forward and really say that this morning viewers don't just sit on the sofa and watch, they get up and do. Yes?
It was an intensive selection process. The physical nature of the challenges meant a thorough test of our candidates' fitness.
Okay, get yourself to a comfortable speed. It's telling you speed here in kilometres.
For 2 days, we rigorously assessed all the candidates. They had to demonstrate their fitness levels, running and swimming prowess. We also MOT'd them mentally and psychologically before we could pick our final 10 challengers.
You're our 10.
Oh my God!
These 10 girls had no idea which challenge they would do. We split them into 3 groups. Challenge number 1 was undertaken by Susie Stubley and Jill Lucas, cycling 400 kilometres across India with Fern and I last November. As with all the challenges, India proved to be a tough one, both physically and mentally.
Yes, I'm fine. No, I'm not fine.
After all the tears and trials, Susie and Jill crossed the finish line. Challenge 1 completed, 2 to go. Next up, the London Marathon.
And you said you were prepared to do anything. Your challenge will be next April. You will have run 26.2 miles during the London Marathon.
The marathon began back in 1979, and from humble beginnings, it now attracts thousands of runners from all over the world. They pound the streets for 26.2 miles, starting on the top of Blackheath in southeast London and crossing the finishing line on the Mall within sight of Buckingham Palace. Every year, millions of spectators come to cheer the runners on, and the race is beamed around the globe to millions more. As a qualified fitness instructor, over the years I've trained upwards of 100 people to compete in running events such as the London Marathon, and I've run it 3 times myself, so I knew exactly what we were looking for. When we launched this challenge 8 months ago, the reality of taking part in such a world-famous event for these 4 women seemed very far away. They all had a long journey ahead. Kathy Pates from Surrey is 44. She's 5'4" and at 10 stone 13 had got herself into a rut.
I need to really get out of this comfort zone that I'm in and, and get back to trying to be the person that I once was. That person that was always hungry for a challenge and feeling quite good about themselves and trying to motivate other people rather than this sort of kind of self-loathing, depressive, miserable cow, really.
Ali Christensen from Cheshire is also 44. At 5'9" and 17 stone 13, she's let herself go.
I just thought it would be a perfect opportunity for me to kickstart my life again. You know, I wasn't sure where I was going, but I just thought that that would really help me start out.
Jackie Nowdy from Hampshire is 34. She's 5'4", 9 stone 2, with a large family to look after. She desperately needed to do something for herself.
I've got 6 children, a husband. I look after everybody. That's what I do as a job. And I thought it'd just be really nice to have something to do for me.
I think when you're a mum, you are just, oh, you're Jamie's mum, or, you lose your identity. I think I'd like to remember that I was once full of ambition and courage, and I think I'd like that back.
Shelley Preston from Essex is 44. She's 5'4" and weighs 18 stone 1 pound. As the heaviest in our group, she finds it hard just climbing the stairs.
It was last Christmas. I was walking up my stairs at home, 13 stairs, got to the top and couldn't breathe properly. And I thought, my God, I'm not in my late 40s, early 50s, and I can't even walk up 13 stairs. And that changed everything from that point.
All 4 girls were inspired to apply for the challenge when they saw Fern and I appeal for volunteers to join us on the ride in India.
You helped me because you helped train me up and give me confidence enough to do it. And it gave me so much sense of morale and self-esteem and achievement. And
when I was watching the television with my daughter, Stacey said to me, "Mum, that Fern, it's almost as though she's talking about you and what you need. This is what you need to do right now. Why don't you go for it?"
Despite being shortlisted from thousands of applicants and invited to the assessment days, Michelle was very nervous about what to expect. At her heaviest, she weighed 24.5 stone, and she'd already lost several stone when she applied for the challenge, but she was still worried.
It was just the fear of the unknown. Everybody was going to be super fit. If I hadn't have actually come as far as I had, I'd have probably turned away and not gone in.
For Ali, the selection process was a really positive experience.
My confidence just creeping back into me, and by the end of the day, with the final interview and sitting with all my new friends, all the fear and all the strange knots in my stomach and everything had all gone.
Ali separated from her husband in January 2006 and declared herself bankrupt. She lost her house and ended up having a breakdown. But now, with the help of her teenage children, she's taking steps to start her life over again.
It was a massive relief for me because I could just walk away and there was nothing left to argue, fight about, nothing. I was just free. Bankruptcy for me meant freedom. When is it again? Next week?
Yeah.
So we're going to go see it.
Can do if you want.
You know I'll be there.
Right.
I'm here. Everybody's happy and it's just wonderful, really.
Training for the London Marathon is an enormous task. In 8 months, these 4 girls will have to push themselves to their absolute limits to make sure they're prepared mentally and physically for this challenge.
The bond that's there is incredible because we're all growing and changing. And when Julie said this time next year you won't recognise yourself, I think she's very, very true.
I'd like to prove to myself that I can do it, that I've still got what it takes.
As far as my life goes, I think this is what I needed more than anything else to set my life back on track. And this is going to enable me to get my courage back, my strength back, to be able to go and do it.
I've got this fantastic opportunity. This is it.
It's my life, it's now or never.
Can our marathon girls get fit and focus on the task ahead?
Don't make me do it again.
No.
No!
Come on.
I can't do it again.
Is she joking?
I'm going to have a temper tantrum.
Is she joking?
I'll do it again.
Our first run together was only a mile and they struggled. How will they manage 26.2 miles?
It's my life.